Hello, you're watching Europe Votes, our series on the EU election campaign in individual countries and in regions of Europe. With just a few weeks to go, the far right in France is on track for a comfortable win if the polls are correct. The National Rally only just beat France's ruling party Renaissance in the last EU election in 2019, but this time a wide gap has opened between the two, potentially striking a serious political blow to President Emmanuel Macron and his idea of European autonomy and sovereignty. Well, for this debate, I'm joined by election hopefuls from those two parties. Sandro Gozzi is one of the three lead candidates known as Spitzenkandidaten for the centrist liberal Renew Europe group. Welcome to you.
Welcome, thank you.
And we're also joined by Fabrice Leggeri, one of the top candidates on the list of the French National Rally, who joins us from eastern France near Strasbourg. He was previously the head of Frontex, the EU's border and coast guard agency. Fabrice Leggeri, welcome to you as well.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Let's start with you, Sandro Gozzi. So these opinion polls in France, they've been pretty stable the last few weeks, haven't they? Why do you think that your party is not getting the traction that it did at this point in the campaign in 2019?
I will not attach a great importance to this poll because the real campaign is still to start. Just this week, we have presented our program. The French are between their work and their bank holidays. And we wait a little bit to see what the real results are. But certainly we are not worried because of these polls, because we do not think that they reflect the reality of the current expectation and especially of the electoral behavior on the 9th of June. We will see on the evening on the 9th of June.
We will see on the night of June the 9th, as you say. Fabrice Leggeri, your boss, Jordan Bardella, the lead candidate for the National Rally here, he's made it clear that this election campaign is basically a referendum on President Macron's national record.
It's, of course, a referendum on President Macron's national record, but it's also a referendum on the vision of the European Union. And the National Rally is in favor of improving Europe in such a way that it's a cooperation among sovereign and free nations. And we want, in particular, to take into account many concerns of citizens that they have expressed with regard of illegal migration, the Green Deal, for example, the fact that there is a lack of economic growth. And so there are different issues where we would like to improve the European Union.
That point about economic growth, I think, is crucial, isn't it? Because polls suggest that on social Europe, this is where perceptions of Europe are not very positive among the French electorate. Well, that it's not delivering for poorer people, especially.
On the social dimension, we have taken a major step ahead, and we want to do more. But finally, we have introduced a minimum wage at European level, which seemed impossible in 2019. Nobody speaks about the Polish plumber anymore, like we did in France during and after the Constitutional Treaty. Why? Because we have solved the issue of detached workers. The so-called Europe, which is, an empty Europe of which Rassemblement National and Fabrice Leggeri are talking about, it is a union which would be completely paralyzed because they want to decide by unanimity on everything. They don't want supranational institutions. They don't want to increase the budget neither of Frontex. I would like to hear the opinion of Fabrice Leggeri on this. So, it is a fake European proposal for a truly nationalistic solution.
Well, let's put that point specifically on Frontex then to Fabrice Leggeri.
Well, as former executive director of Frontex, I could witness that the objectives of the agency have been twisted and changed by von der Leyen's commission, and in particular Commissioner Johansson, into a kind of agency monitoring what member states are doing with regard to fundamental rights. So the position of the National Rally is very clear. If Frontex is to be a European, really, coast guard and border guard agency, then yes, we are ready to support and to increase the budget, but it has to be politically properly driven as a border and coast guard agency.
Frontex was targeted by a report by Olaf, the EU's corruption watchdog, anti-corruption watchdog, I should say, in relation to migrant pushbacks. What's the latest on that?
Well, basically, this is a political instrumentalization, and I think one could speak about an Olaf gate within the European Union, because the intention was clearly to kick me out of this agency. But anyway, there are no findings of evidences of so-called pushback, and there is nothing which is related to fraud or financial issues. And all the reports say that there is nothing which relates to criminal law. There is nothing which is related to the need of a tribunal or court. So it's just about, well, in fact, there were disciplinary proceedings that were proposed and rejected by the management board of Frontex.
Do you want to say anything on the Olaf gate, so to speak?
No, I'm not a judge and I don't carry out inquiry, but I'm a politician and I have political evaluation. And for me, it's amazing that Fabrice Leggeri has just joined the Rassemblement National, who has been always against the role of Frontex, who has voted against the increase of the budget, who increased the budget in this year of Frontex from 800 million euro to 3 billion euro. We have strengthened the capacity. Frontex is an instrument which, of course, is at the service of a member state for border control, but must act in the full respect of fundamental rights, like any agency. It's not that we make an exception for Frontex. Any agency must respect the fundamental rights. So I don't know to which Fabrice Leggeri should I believe. Should I believe the civil servant who has been at the service of Europe in these years, or should I believe the candidate, or allow me, the mercenary at the service of the Rassemblement National today? This is totally beyond the judicial inquiry. If there isn't anything, I'm very happy for Fabrice Leggeri, but the mismanagement and the political contradiction are very blatant.
Okay, look, you've both made your points on the investigation and all the surrounding issues. I think we need to move ahead. Your party, Fabrice Leggeri, is talking about this issue of unfair competition if enlargement of the EU goes ahead.
Yes, indeed. We, of course, first of all, I have to clarify that Rassemblement National wants to support Ukraine so that the ammunitions that were promised by the European Union can be delivered. And that's a failure of von der Leyen's Commission and Macron's Europe that failed to deliver the ammunitions that are needed by Ukraine. But now when it comes to the enlargement, we consider that Ukraine is such a big country, so big with regard of agriculture, that this would be total unfair competition against French farmers, but also other farmers in the European Union. I just would like to remind everybody of the Polish farmers that were the first ones claiming and waking up and saying that this competition is not fair. So one has to realize what it means to have Ukraine on board within the European Union. But again, when it comes to defense of Ukraine, we want that the European Union can deliver the ammunitions that have been promised.
What about this possibility of French troops being sent to Ukraine, which President Macron keeps talking about? Is that something that you'd support or not?
No, we consider that the first reaction was very clear, also from Germany, from the United States and other allies, saying that this was not, has never been discussed with other Western allies. And we think that it's very important that the president of Ukraine even says that what his country needs are the ammunitions. They don't request us to send troops to the field. So one has to be very, very cautious, because we are talking about war or peace, and this is not something that can be discussed so easily like a joke. And this was the tone most of a joke, as Mr. Macron said the first time.
So what about French troops in Odessa? Is that something that Macron should be repeating as to sort of prepare the public for this?
No, we just got a breaking news from the representatives of Rassemblement National, because they say they support Ukraine. They voted against or they abstained on all the measures that we adopted, including the budget to finance weapons to Ukraine, in the parliament, they always voted either against or they abstained. They abstained on the sanction against Russia. They abstained on the help, on the macro financial help to Ukraine. And today we hear from the representative of Rassemblement National that they want to go faster, as we want to go faster for the weapon. Welcome to the club. It is clear that you are not believable because you don't say what you vote and you vote what you don't say. And this is typical of the Rassemblement National this year, so they lack total credibility. Emmanuel Macron said loudly what many governments think, but they don't want to speak about. What shall we do if Putin cross the red lines? What shall we do if Putin go towards Kiev? And it is clear that we must remain ambiguous. We must keep several options because we don't want to arrive there. But if you don't want to arrive there, you don't say already in advance to Putin what you will do or what you won't do, because this is exactly the opposite you have to do in a conflict. It is clear that Emmanuel Macron is brave enough to open the discussion about that. It is clear that many people would like to put their head in the sand, but this is ostrich politics, and I don't think that in 2024, with the tragedy going on in Ukraine, we can follow an ostrich politics.
We'll have to leave it there. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. It's been a very short 12 minutes, but thank you so much to both of my guests, Fabrice Leggeri of the National Rally, and Sandro Gozzi of the centrist liberal Renew Europe group. Thank you so much to both of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.